Hello and welcome to Zero Point Energy, with a 0 point what we talk about in just as much energy. I'm Sean.
And I am Jorge.
And you need to talk louder, buddy.
Well, fuck.
There you go. Now I can hear you.
Okay, we're going to keep this volume up for the rest.
Woohoo! Tonight we are talking about a wonderful movie from technically it's from my childhood. It's also from Jorge's. The wonderful Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's holiday movie, Trading Places.
It stars Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, Don Ameche, Denholm
Amici.
Amici?
Yeah. Ralph Bellamy, Jamie Lee Curtis, Denholm Elliott, and a couple of other great characters. A good early John Belushi movie.
Not John, Jim.
Jim?
It was James Belushi in this.
Jim. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's younger Belushi.
Exactly.
I forgot.
Who cares?
They're Belushis. Chicago people. They all look the same.
A comedy dynasty.
True.
I'm trying to fix my mic. Give me a sec.
Yes, I've had to move our microphone setups recently, and we're having technical difficulties with reconnecting the arms to our booms.
He said booms, not boobs. Although we are fat guys, so we have them.
We do. That is how much I like breastises. I grew my own.
For me, it just happened, you know?
For those unfamiliar, this movie has a interesting concept of two rich old white people decide to make a wager to decide if it really is nurture versus nature. So, an experiment to gauge if you're a product of where you grew up or a product of the environment you live in, they decide to pit the rich, well-to-do, well-spoken, well-educated Louis Winthrop III, played by Dan Aykroyd, versus the down-and-out, poverty-raised, broken home, African-American Billy Ray Valentine, played by Eddie Murphy.
And in this experiment, we find out, for once and for all, which one is it? Nature or nurture?
Yes.
Hit the bell. No.
Does growing up poor just make you predetermined to only ever be a criminal? And does growing up rich and privileged just make you better? Or if you took that away and put somebody who was poor in a privileged environment and gave them all this privilege, even as an adult, would they act accordingly? And vice versa. Would somebody who grew up with that privilege, who now had it completely stripped and put into poverty, would they also act accordingly by turning to a life of crime?
Now, one thing in this movie that I think is completely out there, quite honestly, because it's book smarts with Dan Aykroyd in this movie. Winthrop went to Harvard and learned all this shit, versus we don't know what the hell, Valentine's educational background is. His is basically just street smarts. It's
the common sense, and what he makes the comparison, because in this movie they're also trading stocks. Winthrop is a stockbroker by trade, and as soon as Eddie Murphy's first introduced to the world of stock trading, he literally equates the stockbrokers to bookies. And that's not far off. It's just statistical probability and pattern recognition.
Now, the one thing I remember when I was trying to actually trade stocks, I was learning in a class and stuff, they tell you, do not take historical data to indicate what will happen in the future. But that is part of statistical analysis.
Yeah, what they mean is just because, especially for commodities trading, which is another big point of this movie. And of course, my dog going crazy as always. Hey, quiet you. Yeah, yay. So a big part of this movie is commodities trading. And with commodities, especially like crop harvest and things like that, that's why they say don't look at historical data. Just because last year's crop reports said you're going to get a bumper crop, so you're going to make a lot of profit, does not mean you're going to get the same thing this year.
Exactly.
But that's one of those things that on the speculative market, which most stock trading is done in speculation, which is when you have to rely so heavily on your statistical analysis and past data patterns. That's how you trade commodities. So it's one of those things of, oh, you can't rely on the old reports because the old reports don't necessarily reflect what will happen now. But without those old reports, you can't figure out a market value.
Like, think of chickens. Literally, at the beginning of the pandemic, we also had the, what do you call it? Bird pandemic, bird flu. And
yes.
They killed millions of chickens. And then the price of eggs and chicken went up.
Yeah. So a lot of people were blaming, especially the cost of eggs and stuff. Like, even in the news, they said, oh, it's because of the shipping chain issues, because COVID put so many people where they couldn't travel unless they absolutely had to. A lot of things sat in ports and transit hubs longer than they needed to. And that is true. That was a part of it. We did lose a lot of meats and stuff because refrigerated trailers only keep shit cold for so long. And, you know, some things have a finite shelf life. So you can't take 2 weeks to drive it across country when it would normally only take 3 or 4 days. But that's a minor influence on why the crops went up why the prices went up so high. The biggest influence is what they didn't talk about was the fact that there was also a avian epidemic that went around the same time that forced a lot of farmers and meat producing farms to just exterminate their all their livestock. You're killing chickens by the thousands and just incinerating them, not selling the meat for harvest, not harvesting eggs from them. So we went through a year and a half of a dozen eggs went from costing $1.50 to $7.
Yep, right there, exactly. $7.
And that's because we literally destroyed several million gross of eggs, just because, well, the chicken that laid that egg was infected. There's a good chance that egg is also infected.
I mean, that I can remember, I think we had like 12 deaths during the pandemic that were specifically just, avian flu.
Yeah, from eating the contaminated meat and eggs and stuff.
Or farmers too.
Farmers too, because they're working around it. And, there's a lot of diseases that come from working surrounded by just animal feces. So, that's something to think about for, when you go to the grocery store and you see prices are high. It's like, it is hazardous working conditions for a lot of farmers for working in meat farms and stuff like that. Walking through those pens is walking through shit.
It's hazardous work, but we need it done.
Yep. It is literally the definition of it's dirty work, but somebody has to do it.
And you know who does a lot of it? My people, the Mexicans. So think about that. Look at Florida, because y'all need us.
We do. We really do. Mostly for translation needs, because my Spanish is horrible. Like, I am so glad I have so many Spanish-speaking coworkers.
You know Spanish. I've heard... You know what? Next week, we're going to start watching telenovelas.
No. Although, we will admit, my Spanish is rusty, but it's not horrible.
I was going to say...
We're going to date this podcast a little bit because hopefully this comes out soon.
It should come out this week.
Yay.
Yeah, this one should come out this week.
So last week we went on a road trip and a few times in Jorge's random playlist of music on his phone that he was playing during our road trip were Spanish songs, and some of them I had never heard before, but I am singing along with them in Spanish with Jorge.
Yep.
Which is, again, the weird point of that is I had never heard that song before. It's in a language that I try my best not to speak, and I knew all the lyrics.
En otra vida, mi hermano del alma era un mexicano, por lo menos. Un latino, algo.
No Nintendo.
Fuck you. Okay.
Oh, I'm still ashamed that I understood that.
Now, back to this movie. All right. We got an
Back to this movie. There were lots of nice tits.
Yeah. We got an R rating. We had, count them, 4 technically tits. 5 pairs in terms of actual showing and stuff. Also, Jamie Lee Curtis, amazing curves, seriously, and in a way that is
realistically, it's 4 separate pairs, but we see tits 5 times because twice of them is Jamie Lee Curtis.
And again, in a way that is completely and utterly
It's
how do I say it?
Sexual yet non-sexual. Like,
no, okay.
contextually, they made sense.
In erotic, artistic sense, okay, Jamie Lee Curtis has beautiful breasts.
Yes.
And I'm being completely serious. They're, what's it called? If you look like freaking Greek statues, seriously, beautiful.
Yeah.
What do you call it? And the other breasts that were in this movie, also, obviously, very nice. But specifically, I do want to single out Jamie Lee Curtis. She looked amazing.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got this movie from her younger days, but also, a decade later, she does True Lies just as hot, if not hotter.
I have not seen that movie all the way through. I don't remember that, but I'll take your word for it.
You've at least seen her dance scene.
Probably. No, wait, no. I saw her in that other movie. I saw her dancing in the, I think The Eraser or something like that.
No, that's True Lies.
That's True Lies?
With Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
And she's dancing in the bedroom and she falls off the bedpost? Yeah, that's True Lies.
Okay, then I do remember that.
Yeah, that's literally a decade after this movie came out. She's still just as hot. Now, it's not like she's aged horribly. I mean, she's in her early 20s in this movie. She's in her early to mid 30s in that movie. So, 10 years, but 10 years is still amazing. I mean, even now, she's 62? I'm not positive. I still would, though. Like,
okay,
you see her now, and yes.
Okay, you know what? We talk a lot about older ladies who, yes.
Well, you know what? They are older ladies who are literally the crushes and early pubescent boners of our lives, who even now, yes.
Okay.
I am damn near 40. I still fucking would.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? In that sense, I can agree with you. But how do I say it? It's like, it's quote unquote, some people may call it disgusting, but at the same time, it's like, we literally grew up with these ladies showing themselves and basically having a awakening in our youth.
Yeah, like, literally what made Jamie Lee Curtis considered basically a sexual icon was another one of her 80s movies. It's one she did with John Travolta about basically bodybuilders and stuff, called Perfect.
I don't remember this.
It flopped. It wasn't a good movie, but it was the movie that literally switched her from just being a horror actress or a semi-serious funny actress to, she's fucking hot. Like, we can hire her to put her in movies to be the hot chick, which they did for a lot of movies after that too. Well, at least throughout the end of the 80s and very early in the 90s. Jamie Lee Curtis became a sex icon because of those roles. And like I said, it's like Jorge said, it can be seen as perverse or disgusting, but there are a lot of people in our age group, especially mine, because I am a bit older than Jorge, for a beautiful woman like Jamie Lee Curtis, who we grew up with as seeing her as the sex icon. Yeah, I'll admit it. It's probably disgusting, but I beat my dick to this woman for the better part of 20 years, and I still fucking would.
All I'm gonna say is I'm not gonna admit all that. I'm just gonna say is she's good looking, and yes, if I had the opportunity, beautiful woman.
Back to the movie though.
I was gonna say this. How do I say this? This is a hilarious movie. Just like specific parts that were, holy shit! I can't believe that Aykroyd actually did this. We're gonna be talking about.
There's one very specific scene. Anyone who's seen this movie, the train scene. Yeah, that would not fly in a movie made now. It wasn't that strange back in the 80s.
I mean,
it should have been, but it wasn't.
I mean, hell, freaking what's his something Junior? Tropic Thunder.
Oh shit.
Okay, hold on, we'll look it up. Okay.
Fucking Iron Man.
Yes.
Why can't we think of his name? We are fucking stupid.
We literally said it like 30 minutes ago.
Robert Downey Jr.
Thank you.
There we go. It took a second. See, it's one of those, it's a modern movie, but for some reason they get away with this same thing. It is a white actor darkening their skin, changing the texture of the hair with wigs, and pretending to be a black man.
Now, I'm going to say it again, okay? Nothing in comedy is sacred, okay? My friend Sean, I absolutely abhor the jokes that he makes about the Catholic Church, but I accept them. And yes, I get angry, all right? But I accept, and I say, they are funny, okay? I will utterly admit it, okay? I disagree with a lot he says because of how often he says it, but it's still funny, okay? I will completely and utterly admit it.
And it is an important thing to mention that they are jokes. Like I do have my feelings about the Catholic Church, but for the most part, they are jokes.
But again, like, nothing in terms of comedy should be sacred, specifically because without comedy, quote unquote, that kind of comedy, that kind of ridiculing? Yeah, ridiculing. Yeah. That kind of, what do you call it? Being free to say anything is important. It's part of free speech. It's part of criticism, parody,
satire, all of that. It's an important thing. Like some of the best news outlets in the world are completely satirical.
Yes. Oh,
but
God.
Because they're satirical, they have to be able to back it up with facts. Because it's, funny man made a stupid joke and he doesn't know shit. Yeah, no, he has a list of sources of why that's good information. The best example of that would be not so much recently, but The Daily Show when Jon Stewart was hosting it, or
The Weekend Report, right?
Not so much The Weekend Report.
This Week Tonight.
This week, last week tonight with John Oliver is another great one. It is hilarious. It is poignant news stories. It is factual information, but it's given to you in a comedic way. That is what satire is. But it's satirical news reporting of taking these serious stories and telling them in the most ridiculous way possible. And when, people are like, oh, he's just making fun of it. That can't be true. They're like, yeah, here's my sources about the stuff I'm quoting in my dumb joke.
Now, the thing is, the part about it that people need to understand is you need to take it seriously. It's not just jokes about the world trying to make you feel better. It's about letting you know, yeah, this is happening. This is easier to digest than telling you millions of people died and you should feel bad. No, millions of people died and maybe they wouldn't have died, and then they do some kind of ridiculous thing in order to tell you the actual point that, yeah, maybe if this happened, obviously without the absurdity, this would not have happened type shit.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, if you tell it to people in a completely serious, matter-of-fact way, people stop listening because they get bored or they get depressed. They're like, I don't want to hear that. That doesn't make me feel happy. When you start out with a joke, throw in an atrocity in between, and end on a joke, people pay attention because they want to hear the joke.
There was a joke by a comedian. He's Muslim, but he's not Palestinian. His wife is. He was talking about the statistics on how many deaths on the Palestinian side and how many deaths on the Israeli side, and how for every Israeli death, there's like 12 Palestinian deaths, and that's a great return on investment in terms of war. Obviously, that is a horrible joke, but it's...
I forget his name, but yeah, that was with an interview with Piers Morgan.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you. Because he's a comedian, he chose to answer these serious questions with fact, but deliver those facts in a funny, satirical way to try to turn the discussion around. When you keep getting asked the same question that has nothing to do with the main point. Fine, let's start making fun of your point by getting to the lead you're burying. Which is exactly what he was doing. He was like, well, maybe we shouldn't talk about what you're asking me. Let's talk about this because obviously this is better business.
Now, in this case with this scene, specifically, Aykroyd was acting like a Caribbean
Jamaican Rasta. Who's
Rasta black man. And what do you call it? It was obviously in order to try to be ignored by Beaks, played by, I forgot his name, Fudge. Hold on.
Give me a second. I was going to say, if you just pulled up the list, I could tell you right off the bat. Where is it at?
Let me try this.
I was going to say, you scroll through too fast for my eyes to track things. So I have a hard time following when you're...
Oh, they don't have Beaks on here.
He's not listed there?
No, he wasn't. All right, I'm gonna try
wait, go up to the top of this. I think it's listed in this one. We're trying to find stupid things because we're dumb.
No. Okay, he's not. He doesn't seem to be credited as one of the big guys.
Weird.
Here we go. Cast.
Paul Gleason. That's it. Paul Gleason.
There we go. Paul Gleason.
Who is the principal from
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club.
He likes playing a bad guy.
He does. He's got a face for it. He's got an attitude for it. He easily plays the asshole.
Like, oh shit, he's dead.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Damn.
Yeah. I forgot how long ago he died, but yeah, he died.
2006.
2006. So yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, I mean, go on. He was Ozzy and Ozzy and Harriet.
Wow.
He's been doing this for a long time.
I mean, what's it called? He played a good bad guy. He was a funny dude, too.
Yep.
And, shit, I forgot my point I was making about, the comedy. What's it called? He played the Rasta black man character in order to try to get around Beaks' suspicions because a white guy who's privileged will not pay attention and will abhor minorities.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the joke, and it worked. I mean, for the most part, because then he actually got suspicious. He checked, and yeah, he knew it was him.
Well, it just he saw him out of the corner of his eye switching the briefcases, and as soon as he saw that, he knew that's when he took a second and thought about it, like, oh wait, I know that face. But until he took a minute to think about it, they all look alike.
I mean,
that's exactly what was happening in his head.
Yeah, I mean, what do you call it? They had Eddie Murphy playing a Cameroonian tourist who was very obnoxious. What's it called? They had a Irish vicar or priest. I'm not sure. With the hat, I think vicar.
No, the hat, the vicar, definitely.
Yeah. And they had Jamie Lee Curtis playing a Swedish, yet dressed as German.
Austrian, sorry. Just as
Austrian, what do you call it? Tourist lady as well.
Yep.
And they were just basically playing, oh, we don't know anything because we aren't from the U.S. And yeah.
There's another good cast member in here who's surprisingly funny, but also a very serious person. Congressman Franken.
The fuck?
Al Franken.
Wait,
the comedian from Saturday Night Live is either a senator or a congressman.
Hold on.
Just scroll down a little bit. See Al Franken? Click on him.
All right.
There you go.
Wait, he was one of the baggage cart dudes?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. All right, let's see. Al Franken. Wait, no, wrong dude. Here we go.
Yeah, he's a senator.
He was in office from 2009 to 2018. So many actors become senators.
Yep.
And he's a Democrat.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got here. Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party.
He also used to be a writer for Saturday Night Live after he was a cast member.
Nice. I have no idea who the hell he was from those two guys, honestly. I can't tell from his
He was
face.
the one who, when you first see the two baggage handlers, he's the one sitting on the back. You're like, hey, it's my turn to drive.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's Al Franken. He's done a couple movies. Yeah.
Let's see what we got for his movies. Post SNL.
I think a lot of them are bit parts. Oh, Stewart Saves His Family.
I don't remember this.
God, I don't remember if that was an actual movie. Yeah, it's a movie. Stewart Saves His Family.
Let's see. Oh, directed by Harold Ramis. Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see what
I think
we got.
he was. God, not Stewart Saves His Family, but yeah, Stewart Saves His Family is the movie where he plays the guy who's super in touch with his feelings.
I have no fucking idea, man.
It was an SNL skit where like he's like this TV host who's like super just like unbelievably in touch with his feelings. And it's like, hi, we should have a quiet moment now. Would you like a hug? You look like you could use a hug.
I know you're just saying this, but now I kind of want to smack you.
That was the point of the character. Of everybody who interacted with Stewart wanted to fucking punch him.
Okay, moving on.
And he would just keep pushing well, that's not very nice of you. Let's hug it out. So they made an entire movie about it, which was, a shitty movie, but I watched it as a kid, because I watched a lot of comedy movies as a kid. Like, It's Pat.
We are never doing that movie. Just no.
Oh, but it's so fun.
No. You have your rules about musicals. I have my rules about movies that annoy me. No.
Okay.
Like legit. Okay, I'm already annoyed and no. Moving back to the movie we actually watched.
We also get an appearance by Yoda himself, Frank Oz.
In this movie, he appears. Yes.
And my dog is barking at nothingness again.
Good Lord.
Fun times.
If we get through any recording without you barking, I swear I will give you a treat. Will you stop?
We will never get through an entire episode of just him not barking.
It's worth a try. Maybe he'll understand some human. Hold on, I'll tell him in Spanish. Si paras de... No, I'm kidding. Okay, he didn't like the Spanish, apparently. Raise his goddamn dog. Okay. What else was I talking about? Fuck. Movie. Okay. What do you call it? We have Winthorpe, Aykroyd, literally living his life privileged, and when he meets up with Murphy, Murphy's actually trying to be nice because he bumped into him, has knocked down his suitcase. Murphy picks it up, tries to give it to him, and immediately Aykroyd is like, thief, don't hurt me,
He says, don't kill me.
Right, don't kill me. And then he's like, what? I'm trying to give this back to you. And he's like, stop. And then he's like, officers. And they literally come running at him because they were about to pick up Murphy for panhandling.
Yes, and then they literally have a Benny Hill style chase through the Heritage Club, which is literally a clubhouse for rich white men. I can't remember if that's a real club or not.
I'm trying to look it up. So far, the only thing I'm seeing is in Ohio and...
Yeah, but clubs like that used to exist pretty commonly. Or it was the literal old boys club.
Where men would get together, they would talk about shit, they would read books, smoke stogies,
They
shit
would
like
be
that.
rich, white, and racist amongst other rich, white racists who ran the world because they controlled all the capitalism, especially in the 80s. They were usually very powerful lawyers, stockbrokers, land development agents.
Aye.
I mean, capitalism at its finest. Or
Good.
U.S. politics at its finest. You
Good.
decide. Anywhere where you find a plethora of 80-plus-year-old white men with lots of money.
Good thing life isn't like that now, isn't it, people? Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Hint, hint.
Congress.
Yes.
Fun times.
I mean, the movie is... Oh, wait. Giancarlo Esposito's in this?
Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito, he plays the cellmate.
Well, damn. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Fuck it. Where was I? Right. Story-wise.
Yeah, it's amazing that so many great actors were, like, young background fucking scenes of this. Like, this is a man who is famous for me, he's famous for, is it Gus? On Breaking Bad?
Right.
Yeah.
He's also famous for being the bad guy in Far Cry 6.
Oh, yes.
The bad guy in the first and second season, I believe, of The Mandalorian.
Yes.
He plays a really intense bad guy. He does it really well.
He does. He also plays one of the really intense black guys in the Cell. Not with Aykroyd. I think he's with
Valentine. With
Valentine
Murphy.
at the beginning. Yeah. You also have two big football players who were making film debuts at the time. The Ron Taylor and JT Turner. As the big black guy and then the even bigger black guy, which are literally what they're credited as in the movie. The big black guy is the big dude who did all the talking. That's Ron Taylor. And JT Turner is the even bigger black guy, is the one who goes, yeah.
That's literally his only lines in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, every time Ron Taylor says something, he says this point, and JT Turner just comes up and says, yeah. And again, that is stuff you could not get away with today. You could not get away with crediting a black actor in a movie now as big black guy and even bigger black guy.
Okay, I understand some things you like shouldn't be continued. Yeah, I agree. They shouldn't credit them as big black guy and even bigger black guy. Okay, but some things, funny.
It's the most accurate way to describe what was that character's role.
They could have
if they give them character names, you're screening through the credits. Like, who the fuck was that?
I was thinking more along the lines of Cellmate 1 or Menacing Cellmate 1 and Menacing Cellmate 2, that type of thing.
Yeah, but then you'd also be trying to figure out which is which.
True.
Here, it's kind of to the point. Big black guy. Oh, yeah, the guy who did all the talking wasn't quite as big as the guy who just kept saying, yeah. And who's he? Oh, the even bigger black guy.
Also, in those days, people didn't have access to the internet. They wouldn't be able to see how weird looking things up now. So it kind of makes sense that they would put big black guy. Oh, wait, yeah, that describes this scene in this movie specifically. Yeah. That guy.
And, the fact that they were, at the time, famous NFL football players.
Very true.
And still getting credited in a A-list movie as the big black guy.
No comment.
Could you imagine if they did that to Hightower in the Police Academy movies? If in the first movie they didn't call him Hightower in the credits, it was just big black guy.
Oh, God, no.
I will admit, because I'm stupid and had a hard time remembering the names of characters, I used to confuse Tackleberry and Hightower all the time in, the first two Police Academy movies.
How?
Admittedly, I was also a child when they came out. I was, we looked it up. When the first one come out in 1990?
Hold on. I need to pull it up again. Hold on. Police Academy.
Either way, they came out when I was a literal child, and I did not see any of them in theaters. I saw them on VHS, so they all came out a year after each other. So it might have been 88, 89. '84. So the first Police Academy movie came out 1 year before I was born.
Okay, then yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, I legit grew up watching the first three Police Academy movies before I was 10 years old.
Now, the equivalent of this for me would have been, well, not literally equivalent, but enough, would have been Risa en Vacaciones, which was a literal collection of pranks being played in Acapulco on people during the 70s and 80s. And I literally watched those movies back to back as a kid. They were basically a bunch of prank movies. There was no script.
Yeah. And like I said, just because I was a kid, I could see the characters. I could see people interacting with them and calling them by name, but I would still confuse them when I would talk about them. But 6 of the 7 Police Academy movies came out before 1994?
Yeah.
Or no, Mission to Moscow, I think that is the 7th movie. I think they all came out in a single decade.
And they've got a current one in the works since 2018, but it's probably in production hell because it's Police Academy. It probably wouldn't work too well nowadays.
It's been in production hell for a while. I think they first announced it back in 2010. And it's supposed to be like Mahoney is now the head instructor of the Police Academy. They're trying to get as many of the cast members back, but a lot of them have sadly passed on by now. But as many as they can get, they're trying to get them all to come back to literally, they're the teachers now.
By the way, he's not using a euphemism for other projects. He means literally they're dead.
Yeah, unfortunately.
God rest their souls. Literally, I love these people. They were the funniness of my childhood.
Yes, so it can be argued that Steve Guttenberg is not a particularly funny man, but in the Police Academy movies, absolutely hilarious. Well, contextually, like some people have a role, and Steve Guttenberg will always be Mahoney.
Daniel Radcliffe will always be Harry Potter.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or Jamie Lee Curtis will always be Laurie.
Possibly.
What do you mean, possibly? Bruh.
I mean, again, I became a big fan of her because of True Lies.
Okay.
Which I'll admit, I forget the character's name.
God damn it. We're not going there again. Look, my point is specifically, like, there are certain roles that define a people's careers, okay? Meryl Streep in fucking, Sophie's Choice. Okay?
Yeah.
That was fucking amazing.
Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct.
Right? Freaking,
Michelle Pfeiffer is Catwoman.
what's the fuck is her name?
Like, even though all of these actresses have done much better movies and have done roles where it have earned them their places as legendary actors and actresses, you will always know them as that breakout role.
Exactly.
Which is why Jamie Lee Curtis will always be well known as Laurie Strode from the Halloween movies. Or, I would also say the mom from the Parent Trap remake with Lindsay Lohan.
No, wait, that wasn't her.
No,
That
Freaky
was,
Friday.
That's it, Freaky Friday. There we go. Actually, yeah, that she was probably a lot of people's first run-in with her as kids. You know what I mean? Like
a lot of people who are
niece and
younger
nephew.
than me, closer to your age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but again,
Because that was end of 90s, not early to mid 90s. So I'm more familiar with her 80s to 90s works. You would be more familiar with her 90s on works.
I know a little bit about the 80s, but that was because I was a kid with HBO and no adult supervision.
And for
I love you, Mom and Dad.
And for you extremely young people who are listening, who probably shouldn't be because we are very not age appropriate, the Activia lady.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Also, by the way, what's it called? They had a big lawsuit about that. It doesn't exactly help, but what do you call it? It's probiotics. It does some
doesn't
shit.
help as much as they kept promoting that it does, but all yogurt is a very good probiotic and does help with gut health. Eat yogurt. Just eat yogurt. It really does. Activia does have extra fiber in it, so it does help keep you regular. So again, it is a useful thing. It does do some of the things that they promoted it so heavily for doing. It's just not the end-all be-all of fiber supplements.
Who likes short shorts?
I do, because there are also plenty of short shorts in this movie.
Actually, yeah, he's right. What's it called? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 women with short shorts in this movie, and they looked awesome. Like, beautiful curves. They hugged them real tight.
Yes. And, like, realistically, like, there's a part of me who wonders, can Jamie Lee Curtis still fit in that white bikini from the end of the movie?
Bruh. We literally watched her I want to say a year ago now, in freaking Halloween Dies.
Yeah.
Or Halloween Ends. Halloween, something like that.
And?
Like, okay, just, how do I say this? Just because I would, doesn't mean that I would, quote unquote, expect someone to public. You know what, Stevie?
I'm just saying I wonder if she can. I'm not saying I expressly want to see her in it. I wouldn't be sad to see it, though.
You know what? I'll give it to you.
Jamie Lee Curtis, if you're watching this, do you still have that bikini, and can you still wear it?
I apologize.
Pictures on your Instagram, please.
I apologize for my friend so much. Like, God, you know what? Fuck it.
Hey.
You know what? He's an asshole. Fuck him up. I'm not apologizing for you no more.
Hey, we literally used a Selma Hayek Instagram picture of her in a bikini as one of our thumbnails. Because she is also still amazing.
What do you expect? You know how black don't crack?
Uh-huh.
Mexican will do again. I don't know. Fuck it. You know what? I'll workshop that.
Isn't she Puerto Rican?
No.
Selma Hayek's Mexican?
Yes.
Okay.
Perdón a todos mis amigos mexicanos que aman a Salma Hayek. Y perdón a Salma Hayek porque, híjole.
No, it's not Paz Vega that's Puerto Rican. Paz Vega is Chilean, right? Or Peruvian?
No. Hold on. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. We're actually going to go through this.
I do occasionally mix Paz Vega and Salma Hayek. Certain movies. Certain movies.
Fuck?
They have a similar face.
Salma Hayek was born on September 2nd, 1966 in Coatzacoalcos, Mexico.
I love it when you even struggle with those city names. It makes me feel less bad about the fact that I do.
Coatzacoalcos. There we go.
There you go.
All right. Now, next we said Paz Vega.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if she's Chilean, but I'm pretty sure she's not. She's Spanish, bro. She's
okay.
a legit Spaniard.
I forget. I'm old. I've been hitting the head a lot in my life.
I need a Beanie Baby to smack him upside the head with, but we'll leave it at that.
They're all on my side of the room this time. Ha ha.
You bastard! He took away my only weapon. Okay, doggy, attack!
No, he loves me.
God damn it.
He won't attack again until Holly comes home. He hates her for some reason.
Who else did you say besides Paz Vega?
That was just it. Those two. What you can see looking at the pictures, when you see that kaleidoscope at the bottom, you can confuse the two at a glance.
Bruh, I disagree. The cheekbones.
I said at a glance, not when you actually look.
About
if you put the two of them in the same dress and have them walk past you, you're like, wait, didn't she just walk by? Oh,
okay. Bruh.
Different woman.
Like, completely and honestly, like, they have a different bust size, okay? Salma Hayek...
Only because Salma Hayek had implants.
I can't argue that.
They used to be a lot closer in size.
Again, I can't argue that. I'm not saying no.
Remember, you got to take it back to the 90s. I'm not saying now. I'm saying back in the 90s. Back in, like,
Death...
From Dusk Till Dawn.
That's it.
You know, back in those days. Or even Zero. Not Zero. That was Catherine Zeta.
That was Catherine Zeta. She's not even Latina.
I know.
Bruh.
That was my fault. Which is the sad part of Zorro movie. That the
Okay, Antonio Banderas, great actor. I won't take it away from him. But he's a Spaniard playing a Mexican in a Spaniard role. Okay? Like, literally, El Zorro was a Spaniard who literally felt sorry for the Mexican people and decided to fight for the people.
yes, and his love interest, who is supposed to be a Mexican princess, is played
She's
by.
not Mexican. She's also Spaniard in the movie.
Is she in the movie as a Spaniard?
She's a Spaniard. Or she's a mixed Spaniard with indigenous blood. I'm not sure. Which is mestizo, but you get the idea.
Either way, I know she's supposed to be a princess. Or at least in the old movies. Because it's, character to character. Now, see, you can see it, right? 20
Kinda.
plus years, 30 years ago, they looked similar.
Kind
Okay.
of. I'll say kind of. I'll give you like a 30, 40%, but not...
Okay, we'll do it this way. 30 years ago with the puberty brain of hot Latina chick.
Fine. Just because I want to get back to the movie. Now, one thing this movie does really well is it portrays the... What's it called? The market, how it used to be, and how insider training works. How you're trying to get access to reports and stuff before it actually happens. Hell, that's still happening in Congress, where literally people who are on the subcommittees for certain things like produce or defense budgets and shit, okay, literally will buy stock in whatever company they're looking at right now, and it's not considered insider trading because it's a part of their job.
Yeah. And it's absolutely one of those things of... It's why so many people are trying to get them to pass a resolution where a sitting senator, sitting congressmen, and congresswomen are not allowed to participate in the stock trade because they're already earning $137,000 a year. That's base pay. And then they're making millions off of essentially insider trading. Like, by definition, what they're doing is insider trading because as part of these different committees, they are privy to information that would influence markets.
And again, what do you call it? If you want to start taking advantage of that, follow some of your favorite, congressmen or whatever. Oh, Lord. I knew it was coming, too. He was stalking toward the door.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
I don't know.
Okay, we know what he was saying, apparently. Buddy, shut up. You done?
Hey, come here. Who's a good monkey? He's a good monkey.
He's a canine.
He's my monkey.
You don't want a monkey, believe me.
Shoot, it would probably eat my face.
Like, you don't care. Okay, back to what I was saying. If you want to actually, quote-unquote, do the same thing that a senator is doing, you can actually follow them on different, not social media exactly, but different outlets. I forgot what they're called. Specifically, they post all of their trading because they have to by law. So whatever they trade, you can buy the exact same thing, and then you find out that they buy. When they sell it too.
Speaking of those laws, the current Speaker of the House has figured out the perfect way to get around the law of having to post your finances. As long as the one bank account he has in his name has a zero balance at all times, he doesn't have to disclose how much money he has. He's funneled almost all of his money into his wife's bank accounts, including his payroll. So when he publicly discloses his money, he's like, "Oh, but I'm just like the everyman. I struggle paycheck to paycheck. Look at my bank account. There's only $200 in it." You get paid $7,000 a fucking week.
You know what that says to me?
White people have privilege because if we did the same thing, we'd go to jail for tax evasion.
Oh, no, not just that. What that says to me is his wife should get a divorce. Immediately. Take all that money. Cash that bag. That shit.
If she did, she wouldn't be able to run her 3 churches out of the exact same building that are gay conversion therapy centers. Which also allows her to evade taxes because churches don't pay tax.
Like I've said before, we should really start our own goddamn church, honestly. I mean,
We should.
I know enough about shit. I can literally bullshit my way through. This is a religion, okay?
We don't even have to. We can just call it a religion and just say, hey, well, it's the religion of I'm never paying taxes again.
Join us if you want to not pay taxes to the man. Jesus said, pay unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and pay unto God's what is God's.
It is the Church of Anti-Capitalism engaging in the most capitalist behavior ever.
I like that. Okay. But what I was going to say
that's the entire name. Like, I want that on a plaque on the fucking wall. Like, I want you to roll up and see it chiseled above the doorway. Welcome to the Church of Anti-Capitalism, where we engage in the most capitalist activities possible.
Let me tell my joke.
You can tell your joke now. I needed to get that out, though.
You son of a bitch. You didn't let me tell my joke.
I needed to get that out. You can tell your joke now.
Like shit. That took you a bit.
It did. I had to think about it. Also, my dog is being weird.
Is your... Okay, you know what? I'm not talking about that. I'm just gonna look
He has
away.
weird anxiety issues, so he sits and he just licks my leg all day long. He's a fucking weird dog. He's old enough that he's probably dying at this point.
He's white. He should be able to buy some Xanax.
He's got some black in him.
Let me see. Where were we? Oh, right. Winthorpe's bride. Oh, not Ophelia. What was her name? Margaret? Penelope? Some shit like that?
Penelope.
That's it. Penelope. That was a weird woman. She
is a great example of somebody who has grown up entirely with that rich privilege and has never ever had any form of adult responsibility thrown on her or the need to do anything for herself because everybody does something for her, or you can just throw money at it and make it go away. So she has this naivete of childlike wonder in all things she does and not knowing how the world works. But she speaks in a very, honestly, the easiest modern way to say it is she is an unintentional uwu girl.
Holy shit, that fits way too fucking well. Wow.
Yeah, she's got the little baby doll voice because she's never needed to be an adult, so she never outgrew the childish voice. And I have met people like that in my life. I see people like that on a regular basis at my work because I work in a rich white people neighborhood.
Okay, let's not go with their jobs.
I had
Moving
to
on.
teach somebody how to fill up their tires with air yesterday.
Tell me you're lying. Please tell me you're lying.
They literally had no concept of how to plug the air pump into their tire. I have on multiple times, because I work at a gas station, on multiple times I've had to go outside and show people how to pump gas into their cars.
This is a joke from the internet.
The saddest part is it's usually senior citizens that I have to show how to pump gas.
Okay.
And it's the young people who I have to teach how to use the air pump and stuff.
Okay, I have to ask this because it's a meme on the internet. Have you ever had to tell a Tesla owner, we can't charge your car. This is for internal combustion engines?
I have not. I've not had anyone that bad. I did have one night where I had to explain to a group of children, because I am going to call them children at this point, because they were all a minimum of a full decade younger than me, if not more so. I had to teach them how to use the ATM that was in our store, and I could not get 3 of the 5 to grasp the concept of, no, you cannot cash app the machine money and it gives you cash back. You need a physical card to use the ATM. We had an issue with our tap to pay at the store for one whole day where you could not use Google Pay, you couldn't use Apple Wallet, any of that stuff to pay. You had to either have a physical card for credit or you had to give us cash.
My head hurts.
You have no idea how many fucking customers had to walk away in disgust, anger, and or shame. Because, no, we don't accept Apple Pay at the time. You can't use tap to pay. You have to swipe your card.
And they didn't have a card.
I've had people who were holding the card in their hand, and when they couldn't tap, they had to swipe, got pissed off and walked out the store. Like, I can't believe you don't have tap. The tap sensor is not working at the moment. We have an order in for it.
Okay, like
they could not be bothered to take the 2 seconds to swipe their card. It was that inconvenient that they couldn't just wave their hand over the machine.
Okay, in all seriousness, like, bitch, you swiped your card for decades. The fuck?
Yeah, like if they were kids, I would understand it.
Yeah, exactly.
The people who get the most upset by the inconvenience of sometimes modern technology doesn't work perfectly is usually the older people. And it's always older than me people.
Okay, for me, it's more along the lines of, at my job, okay, I literally show people how to use tech. And basically they say, the wonders of new technology. The fuck isn't it working? And I'm like, because with that complication and wonders comes other issues that happen. Literally, yes. Sometimes this doesn't communicate with this, and shit doesn't happen.
Oh, yeah, like, some people get so confused by the fact that occasionally a register runs slowly. Like, it's a computer. Like, the register I use is not an old-style cash register. It is it's a PC. It is a tabletop PC with the touchscreen interface. That is the easiest way to describe what a cash register is.
But can it run Doom?
Probably. I mean, if a TI-83 can do it, this can probably do it. Actually, the modern equivalent would be, can it run Skyrim? Since you can play Skyrim on a smart fridge.
Okay. Fine, but okay, specifically.
But, yeah, it's that has become the modern equivalent. Like, I grew up with but can you play Doom on it? Because we could play Doom on our fucking calculators in school. Now but can it play Skyrim?
Okay, fine. Just
hell, I remember the early 2000s when the benchmark for if you had a good gaming PC was, but can it play Crysis?
Okay, yes, but like in that same vein, if you describe to people that a computer has to calculate graphics, color, vertices, polygons, and shit in order to explain how a game works, nobody fucking understands you. But if you try to explain to an older person, which I've done, that using Google, okay, is the equivalent of going through a, what were those card things in libraries called?
Card catalog.
Thank you. Through a card catalog in a library to look up a book about a subject you needed, they're like, no. I'm like, it's literally the fucking same thing, but instead of looking yourself, the machine does it for you.
Oh, yeah, I've literally had people ask me stupid questions while holding their phone in their hand. I'm like, did it ever occur to you that you legitimately have a repository of all of the world's knowledge in your hands? And you could probably have answered this question faster than it would have taken you to figure out the words and express it to me, so I could figure out the words to express it to you.
Hell, I like asking people for help. I like having conversations in that regard, you know?
You're a sadist.
No, hold on. Hear me out.
People are the problem with all things in the world. If you can avoid talking to them as much as possible, I would do it. And asking for help, most people are fucking stupid and barely can handle doing their own jobs.
Bruh, okay? I'm not a sadist, okay? I like talking to people. I'm an introvert. I fucking hate it. But if I need help, I will ask for it before I check my computer. If I'm alone and shit, I will check my computer. I will literally Google, or look on YouTube, where the fuck is my air filter or some shit, okay?
See, I'm totally the opposite of that. Especially if I can't find something in the store, I will take a minute, find a quiet corner of the store to stand off to the side.
You little son of a bitch. Literally.
Yeah, I will find this quiet corner to stand off to the side in, pull out my phone, and look up online where this should be located in the store before I will ever ask a store employee. But that also comes with, I spent 20 years working in stores, working retail, and knowing that every store employee I ever interacted with did not know what the fuck was in the store that they worked in. People who were paid to stock the shelves did not know what was on the shelves in their store.
Okay, let me give you an example, okay? I went to Home Depot to buy some, what are they called? PVC pipes, okay?
Yes.
I looked up online on my phone. Where is it? Okay. I literally went to the place. Aisle, whatever, bay, whatever. And then it was not there. Okay. I literally had to ask for help. They did the exact same thing I did. They're like, huh, okay, let me look in the back what happened. It took them half an hour to find out. They put it in the wrong fucking place.
Yeah. But
And hold on. It wasn't their fault exactly because they changed SKUs. They still had the old SKU up on the website and shit, but they changed SKUs, so that's why they put it somewhere else because they thought it was a different product.
yeah, but they worked there, so they were part of the team that moved it.
Yeah.
They've walked past it, so they should know. Oh, you know what? Last week I was walking down this aisle and it was here. Yesterday it was over here. So when you asked for help, they should have been able to tell you, oh yeah, go over there. Not pull out their phone and also fucking Google it. You worked there. Like, you have no idea how often people are praising me at work. I've had people come back to give me gifts and tips because I have good customer service skills despite my absolute hatred of humanity.
You lucky son of a bitch.
Where literally they have asked other employees at my stores, because I do work at multiple locations. Same company, I bounce around, help out covering shifts at different locations, where people are like, I don't know where that is. And I'll go, wait, what are you looking for? Oh, it's over there, bottom shelf. In a store I had been in for less than 20 fucking minutes, I memorized the entire floor plan of. Where people who have worked there for years, who have unloaded the truck and stocked this inventory, they have no idea where shit is.
Hold on. Okay. Let me give you the example from my perspective, okay? Literally, I have to tell people where things are, but I have to go on a computer and tell them what to click and shit. For some reason, people have either the narrowest view ever, or they literally just cannot see what I'm seeing. I don't know how, okay? We have an option where we can see what they see on their screen and shit. I describe where the hell to look. They go completely past it. I don't understand how. Like, okay, to be fair, maybe these people have macular degeneration. Maybe they have cataracts. Maybe they have, they're like, let's say, legally blind or some shit, and they have a very narrow point of view of what they can actually see. In that case, sure, I completely understand it. Because I'm pretty sure you, like back in the day, they made you wear the glasses so you could see what it's like to be certain types of blind, right?
No, never did that.
Really?
No.
They made us do that in school so we would understand what it's like to have a disability.
That might be because you went to Catholic schools. I went to public schools.
That was my public elementary school. That was before Catholic school.
Oh, then I don't know.
All right, maybe it was.
I have an idea. It's gonna sound horrible, but it's probably the truth. You grew up in a poorer part of Chicago than I did, so probably it was one of those. Yeah, you're probably not going to be able to afford to go to a doctor at some point, so get used to this. Here's what it's going to be like as you lose your eyesight. They were preparing you for the reality of being a poor person who couldn't even afford to go to county to spend $20 to get a pair of glasses.
Fuck! Jesus Christ. Okay. Look, moving on. My point...
Like I said, that's probably not the reason, but I wouldn't put it past the Chicago public school system to also do some shit like that.
Okay, look, my point is specifically, like, I understand that kind of shit can happen. Okay, so in that regard, I am patient, I help people, but at the same time, when people literally go past what I told them, I am literally descriptive as I can fucking be.
Oh,
it's on a black thing, what's it called, black background, white letters and shit, and they go right fucking past it. The contrast is up 100%.
Oh, it is amazing how many times when I've had to call tech support or the help desk when I have some kind of issue, especially working overnights where I'm the only person there. And it amazes them that I already have the program open and running that lets them take remote control of the PC. Because they're like, okay, so what you're going to do is, yeah, no, it's already open and running for you. All you have to do is do your thing. I'm like, oh, you knew how to do that? Like, yeah. Because I know that they spend their entire day, because you're one of those people too, telling people how to access that menu just so they can take control or so they can help talk you through fixing something. I will just have that open for them, and all they have to do is, all right, man, I've got it open. All you have to do is put in your password. Do what you got to do, man.
okay, that's a good and a bad thing. Hear me out, okay? On the other end of that, if you already know how to do that, that is awesome. But at the same time, I don't know which quote unquote application you opened. You know what I mean? I don't know if you did it on a different website, which is possible.
For them, they have a very specific menu for how you turn on remote access. And then once you turn it on, then they can access the whole computer. Like, it's not they can access this program. This is access the entire system.
See, I wish I had that kind of shit.
Yeah, but it's a very specific multi-step process. So I had to have them tell me how to do it once, and as soon as they told me that one time, like, I was writing notes because I'm like, cool, this shit happens at like 2 a.m. I'm gonna have to make this call again. I know it. I'm gonna leave myself notes so I can try to fix this myself again, so I don't have to keep calling tech support. But if I do, I want to make it as easy on them as possible, because again, it's 2 a.m. People who are working at 2 a.m. have been working since 9-10 o'clock at night. They've probably dealt with 100 fucking idiots and 1,000 assholes before they got to me. If I can help them out by making it even remotely pleasant, or help speed this call along, because I know how important short call times are in the service industry, especially for the people who answer phone calls, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to help them do their job because they're helping me do mine.
Thank you. That actually makes me so fucking happy. And in other ways, though, admittedly, sometimes it gets annoying just because, okay, you opened it, great. And then I try to open, and then suddenly somebody opens something they weren't supposed to, and like, okay, that's interfering with this. It's taking the signal that I'm supposed to use in terms of like port.
Oh yeah, that's why I always make sure, like, I don't do it until after I've called them. And as soon as I start hearing them, okay, what I'm going to need you to do is, I'm already going like 5 clicks ahead of them. Like, I know exactly what he's about to tell me to do.
Oh, thank Christ. Okay, perfect.
As soon as they start with, okay, so can you go to the menu and type in this? And I'm like, oh, you want the remote access menu open, right? Like, yes. Done.
Perfect. Okay, that is awesome. Literally, I had one lady who said, no, I'm already there. I'm doing this. And then turns out she was in the wrong fucking menu.
Yeah.
She was under like, what do you call it? Under steaks and stuff. But she was under like Wagyu steaks instead of just regular steaks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bitch, come on.
I'm also very specific about writing down what trouble code appeared on my screen so I can tell them exactly what the message was I got, because the message will clear itself by the time I get through the phone to them, or by the time I can patch through to them on the computer.
Yes.
So
yes,
write it down. Use your phone and take a picture, because I use the store phone to call them. I'll take a picture of my screen with my cell phone so I can tell them exactly what that message box said, so they know exactly what it is I want them to try to fix.
That is so fucking important. Or just, okay, most people don't, some people won't know, but like print screen so you can actually take a screenshot of your screen. That works too.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Back to the movie though, specifically.
Yeah, I know, we went on a little rant about us and working the customer service industry here. But
Mortimer and the other white dude. Okay, the Dukes. Okay. Dukes. Specifically, they made a bet to upend the lives of 2 people. It was for $1. $1 in 1982, worth $3 now, but still a goddamn dollar.
Yep. Specifically, the exchange rate of $1 equals $3.14.
Yes.
They did a dollar bet of, hey, can we turn this poor black guy from a broken home who's a criminal into a rich, upstanding citizen? And can we take this rich, white, upstanding citizen and break him to the point where he is poor, homeless, and turning to a life of crime to survive? If so, I'll give you $1.
Like, what's the opposite of greed? Like, no, greed works in this case, but the life of 2 men was not even worth more than $1.
Yeah, this is penny pitching misery shit, or
yes,
hoarding wealth. Like, for a Christmas bonus, they gave the one
servant,
the butler, they gave him a $5 bill, as it's $2.50 from each of them. And he literally goes, "Oh, lucky day! Maybe I could go to a movie by myself." Because this is obviously a man with a family.
Now, after they change places and stuff, and Murphy actually gets his house and stuff, he decides to invite people he knows from a local bar. And they begin to party and ruin his house,
Yes.
break his shit, not use coasters, sleep in his bed, or, wait for him to come in, whatever the fuck that was.
She was waiting for him in his bed.
Okay, you know what? I'm not as mad about that. But at the same time, it's kind of devaluing yourself, but that's neither here nor there in terms of, we're not talking about the value of sex in society. No, I'm not touching that with anybody's 10-foot pole.
If you devalue yourself, that's okay. Don't let other people devalue.
Okay, we'll go with that.
You have your
Fine.
worth. Follow your worth as much as you think you're worth. Don't let other people dictate it.
There we go. Like, the fact that he was actually, like, yes, it's, like, self-centered, having a party and inviting everybody who you used to hang out with, like, look at me! But at the same time, it's like, if you consider them friends and they still do stupid shit to you. Like, let's say I had a party and I showed off my collection of, like, what do you call it? Let's say PS1 games, okay? And they start stealing the games. Fuck you people!
Oh, yeah. It's the same. Like, when I was living in Chicago, if I had friends over and stuff, we had my big parties out in the yard. It was hard to break shit because you're outside. I had a big open yard. Now that I live out in the suburbs, out in Schaumburg, I've had friends over who are respectful for the most part, but I've had group of friends over at the apartment, and yeah, I get upset when there's a mess made that's not being cleaned up or not being cleaned up right away because I have a nicer place now. It's not, there's one of those, I've worked, I've moved, I'm in a better area, I'm in a better place. Respect the fact that this is my nicer place. We're not just stuck being in my backyard and my shitty South Side apartment. I'm now in a semi-affluent suburb.
I mean, it's just...
It's one of those things of, some people who listen to this will get it. It's especially those of us who grew up on the South Side and stuff. You start doing good for yourself, you move to the better part of town, and all your hood friends come over and keep trying to do hood shit.
Yeah, like what do you call it? Freaking, they had people doing drugs in this. I mean, we've heard stories, I'm sure, of different friends where you have parties and then suddenly a friend who you thought was okay, maybe they smoked a little weed or something, suddenly pulls out the hard shit.
Yeah. And in some instances, it's like, okay, it's your life. I don't care what you do, but dude, it's my house, man. Not in my house.
Have some respect.
Yeah.
It shows you who your friends are technically, and it also shows you, like, maybe I don't want to be this way anymore. Maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things of, if he was in wherever he was staying when he was more destitute, he would not care that they were spilling stuff and putting out their cigarettes on his floor and setting drinks down without a coaster. But now that he finally has nice things, respect my nice things. I might have only had these for a week or so, but fucking respect my nice things. I have nice things now.
And I wanted to share them with you. You know what I mean? But obviously, I can't do that no more. And, like, even, not just that, like, even after a couple of weeks where he actually has his nice shit, he actually treated his manservant, Coleman, pretty well. He said thank you, and...
Yeah, he treated him like a person instead of treating him like a servant.
But then when he meets Winthorpe again, he treats him like Winthorpe treated him.
Yeah, so his first interaction with him is he's treating him like the low-life criminal that he is at the moment. And it isn't until he realizes that the bet was made, well, that he has that change of heart, and it's like, wait, they played us. Like, all right, it's time to go do some hood shit.
And literally, they join forces in order to enact revenge.
Yeah.
Where they have that scene we were talking about where they steal the suitcase, they read the report, and then they insider trade their way to millions of dollars using the 50 grand or so from Ophelia, Jamie Lee Curtis, and whatever the hell the life savings are of the manservant, Coleman.
I think it's also another 20 to 30 grand.
Okay, then yeah. Like, I mean, it's a substantial amount of money, even
Yeah,
then.
it's more than enough to get them, one, to get them their train tickets to go from Philadelphia to New York, and two, more than enough to get them a substantial amount of stock to buy at the beginning to force the price up that they could sell off to make and lose more money. Like, it's one of those weird things of, as an independent stockbroker, they're earning money off of every sale, but they're also earning money off of every buy.
Yeah.
But they needed to have this investment income, this nest egg to begin with, so they could just buy a shitload of stock. And they literally waited until the stock hit the highest point. Like, they bought a bunch right when trading started, and then stood there, waited for the price to get to the highest point, which I think was $1.67 a share.
Something like that.
And then as soon as it hit that point, about halfway through the trading cycle, they started selling and selling and selling and selling, and literally as many people who will fucking buy shares off of them as possible. They're selling until they literally drive the price down to 29 cents a share.
Now, we can't understate the comedy in this movie either, because we have Jamie Lee Curtis playing a prostitute. We've got Eddie Murphy playing a streetwise...
Yes. But the thing is, you have Jamie Lee Curtis playing Ophelia, the prostitute, who, like, when you get back to her apartment and you meet the real her for the first time in the movie, and it's like, she's well spoken, she's well educated, she's talking about investing in treasury bills, the money she's been saving to buy a house, how she has a planned out investment portfolio, and literally the next thing you hear Aykroyd, Winthrop's character, say, but you're a prostitute? Like, she just laid out a financial portfolio in front of you in simplified terms that would make people who are Harvard educated fucking weep because of how well that presentation was.
But she also recognizes the reality that is, you need to have a lot of money in order to actually, quote unquote, get started.
Yeah, for her to get the nice things that she wants, to invest in all those treasury bills so they can start earning her interest and stuff, she has to earn money, and sometimes you have to do not great things to earn that money. Now, back then, not great things. Nowadays, she's a sex worker. Sex work is legitimate work. And prostitution is legitimately the oldest profession. It should never have be, and never should have been at any point, frowned upon. It is legitimate work. It is hard work.
Okay, hold on. I'm not being moral here. It's more like the whole rules of God type thing. Hear me out, okay? Back in the day, it was don't eat cloven hooves, don't eat what was it? Don't eat certain fish. I think it was shellfish. All those rules, they were dietary rules because people noticed this shit makes us sick. Let's not eat that. You know what I mean? That kind of shit, in terms of that stuff, made sense. In terms of sex, also made sense because herpes, freaking syphilis, all that shit, gonorrhea.
Yeah, but then you literally had lines from the Bible of, it's better to give your seed to a whore than to let it fall upon the ground. Which literally meant it is better to go to a prostitute than to masturbate. It is more godly to go to a prostitute.
Okay, I'm not even touching that because there's other arguments, but hold on. My point is specifically, there was a reason for it. I'm not arguing for the morality of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's reasons for everything.
I'm just making sure. Like, I'm not arguing for the morality of it in this case. I'm just talking about there was a reason why they said it, like, logically speaking, not like God said, no. That's not what I'm saying.
But I'm just saying, like, he's literally putting it down to the base minimum of what it is. Like, yes, she's a prostitute, but that doesn't make her dumb. That doesn't make her, like, okay, she might not have the education you have. That doesn't mean she's not intelligent. Again, she laid out a proper investment portfolio in a 20-second explanation that most people who are better educated would struggle to get through to put in any form of simplified terms.
Now, again, I'm going to give a personal example. My grandfather. That man could literally plant anything anywhere. I swear. He did not know, like, his, what do you call it? He didn't know stuff, again, past, like, about 4th, the 6th grade around there. But the man could literally make anything grow. His thumb wasn't fucking green. It was emerald.
Is that why you have like 20 uncles?
Excuse me, I'm gonna...
He could get them seeds to grow anywhere.
I'm gonna mute this so that you guys won't hear his screams of death. Hold on.
I'm not hearing a no there. Ow! He hit me with a bottle. Bastard. Like some of your uncles.
Says the unbaptized savage.
Exactly.
I hate.
But no, like, I get it. Some people just have this talent. Just because they do a job that you see as lesser doesn't mean that they are lesser than you. Like, even now, like, I am a good example of that in my real life. Like, I work at a gas station. I have people all the time who are amazed when I can hold a conversation with them about finances and land development or science and physics and history, all kinds of these topics that I was educated on in school before I was kicked out, and that I have self-educated myself on over the years to just enrich myself for no other reason than I found it interesting, so I studied these things. And there are people who are like, oh, you know a lot. Like, what do you do? Like, oh, I'm a cashier at a gas station. And the look of awe on their faces. That because, oh, I should be beneath them because of the work I do. But I'm almost as I'm equally as intelligent as them I'm just not as well educated as them.
I mean, that's the thing.
But that's something I've learned all through my life. There are a lot of people I know who are extremely well educated with college degrees and such who are fucking idiots.
I agree. Now, these people were taught a specific thing and they're supposed to be experts at it. And they are. I can't say they're not. But at the same time, they're not familiar with the minutia. They're not familiar with how things work. Like, how do I say it? How things actually work, not how things work from the.
They don't see the things that are related and how to interact with stuff. They know they're one thing, and don't get how that thing affects this thing, but this thing affects that other thing, and they all come together. Like that's why I've diversified my self-education so much. Is I understand that I have to know all this stuff about history because all of history affects what I currently know. What I currently know will affect what will happen in the future. And knowing different types of mathematics, knowing history, knowing geometry, knowing physics, chemistry, all of that stuff. Like there's a use for it. Like I've had times when I'm at work now where my knowledge of chemistry has helped me because of just the basic things of we don't have this thing that we need to clean up this spill. Well, if we have this and this, I can make that thing to clean that.
But you got to be careful because that's how you get chlorine gas.
True. You have to know your ratios and stuff, which again is my knowledge of chemistry. And the fact that I had done stuff like that as a job in the past is a benefit to me. Like, there's a lot of times when my past jobs and things I've done before have been very beneficial in my current life. Whereas, like, a lot of my other jobs, they didn't take into account my diverse skill set. I think that's part of why I wasn't happy. Like, I know I'm going on the rant here, but I've been super happy with the job I'm at now because the people I work for appreciate the diversity of a skill set that I bring. I'm not just trained on the one aspect of my job or one or two aspects of my job. I'm well-rounded in all the aspects of the job. Plus, I have knowledge on other things that help out in that 1 in a million freak occurrence that happens occasionally. That I see coworkers panicking, like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what we're doing. Like, just calm down. We got this. Go over here and do that. Get this thing, do that. Like, I'm crisis management in the store at times as literally one of the lowest level employees because I've only been there for a little over 2 years.
Same with me.
I have over 20 years of work experience.
Same thing with me. I mean, not as much work experience as you, but I've got customer service. I've got computer knowledge. I've been able to help people with different shit. I mean, I can look up just about any information in order to help somebody. And I've had to do that at my job.
Well, you've also done a lot of similar yet different jobs, so you know different aspects of your same job. Like you've done different types of customer service. You've done the sales type of customer service. You've done the help desk type of customer service. You've done all that stuff. You've done the math. You've done the I can make an estimate for you. Just tell me all the things you need. You've done all of that stuff, which is a benefit to you, but it's not necessarily something you have to know for your job.
Exactly.
But
I mean, like
your
calculus.
past benefits what you do. My past benefits what I do. But when you look on a resume, it's like, well, that's useless to this job. You don't need that. That's because you have that, you're overqualified. But because you did that, you're underqualified. Because your education level says this, you can't have this position, but your years of experience say you have to be paid for someone who does this position. And like, that's all bullshit. Like, pay me for the job I applied for and then be happy that I can do other things, which is what I'm so glad my current job does. I applied for a very specific position, and they hired me for that position. They saw my resume, and it's like, oh, well, are you sure you don't want to be in management? You could do management. I do not want to be management. Do not make me be management. I will not take this job if I have to be management. And they accepted that and let me work at my lower position job at the lower pay because that's what I wanted to do. And now they reap the benefit of my experience. And like, even now I have stepped up into a lower management position where, like, when the one manager explained to me what the position was, and I actually argued against taking the promotion, he's like, you legit would not be doing anything other than what you already do now. And my literal rebuttal to that before I actually accepted was, yeah, but right now it's optional. I choose to do extra work. I don't have to do extra work.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument for being happy in your job. What's it
Yes.
called? Because there's always the rat race. Like, you got to make more money. You actually got to do more stuff. What do you call it? And inflation is a big part of that because let's say you do the same job and you make the exact same pay for 30 years. You're not going to have the same purchasing power. Again, I'm not arguing against your thing. I'm not arguing
It makes total sense.
But what I'm saying is, like, what do you call it? Things like higher minimum wage and stuff. You'll still be able to keep up, hopefully, with inflation. But, current things, probably not. But the point I'm making is specifically, like, if you're doing a job and you are unhappy, then eventually you will probably end up like a lot of people during Christmas time. Please don't do it, people. I'm just not going to mention it, but you know what I'm talking about.
It's one of those things of you'll never choose to do extra work if you're only getting respected for doing your bare minimum, or if you're only getting paid for your bare minimum. Like, we have rules at my job about clocking in early and clocking out late that I have not 100% been exempted from, but I don't get in trouble for because I come in early and because I stay late. But that's because I'm there. I have a money handling job. I see it as a security thing of maybe we should have this one extra body around while we're dumping money into the safe, or while the new shift is coming in and taking money out of the shift. Don't just clock out and run out the fucking door. Like, that person needs to take money out of the safe to start their shift. Stand around. Stay on the clock. Just stand there and watch their back for a second while they have all this money not in their register. It's a safety thing. It helps make sure you don't get robbed. It makes them feel better because I don't know how many people they like. Yeah, it always bothers me when I have to turn my back on the door to go to the safe. Or in some of the stores, the safe is, in the back room, so they have to leave the front of the store to go get money. Like, yeah, it can be a scary thing walking across the store carrying a bag of cash. Stay around. At least make sure they get it all where it needs to be. And so what? I clock in 10 minutes early and I clock out 10, 15 minutes late. And did my store get robbed? Did that creepy guy who's been lurking in aisle 2 for the last hour and a half, knowing shift change was coming, actually do something? No. Is it because I was standing there? I have no idea. Maybe, maybe not. But do I feel better because I did it? Yes. Do my coworkers feel better because I do it? Yes. And feeling good about the work you do is important especially for your mental health. You want to do a job where you feel like you're doing a good job, and I'm sure your coworkers want to do a job where they feel safe doing their job.
I mean, you really can't feel... actually, no, I take that back. You can feel pretty safe having a lot of money. But at the same time, you can feel very unsafe if a lot of people know you have a lot of money.
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean. It's when you just have that bag in your hand, people know you have a lot of money, and it's not in something with a lock. It might only be that quick 2-minute transfer from one to the other, from the safe to the register, or from the register to the safe. But that's time when that money's out in the open.
True.
That an extra set of eyes is it's a big thing for the feeling of safety. Now, it's one of those things of, I can't do anything. If somebody wanted to rob us at that moment, the policy, which is the smart thing if you are a person who works in a cash job like that, is give people what they ask for. Don't be a hero. Don't fight against it. Just give it to them. Because being a hero can lead to bad things. Quietly. Hey.
Stop being a son of a bitch.
It's evening time, people coming and going, so he can hear them walking in the hallway. But everyone says the whole, sometimes you can be a hero. Yeah, sometimes you can, but sometimes that also gets you hurt or other people hurt.
Or dead.
Yeah. So, do smart things. Like I said, it gives a feeling of comfort and safety. There's no real safety to the fact that I'm standing there. But I feel better about it. The people I work with feel better about it.
Like the TSA. They don't do shit, but at the same time,
they don't make me feel safe either.
Because you and I know better.
True.
Anyways.
Nothing that the Department of Homeland Security does makes me feel better.
I will not comment because I am Mexican. Moving on.
That's only because they made INS part of Homeland Security, too.
Exactly.
Watch out for them green trucks, buddy.
And the black ones.
The black ones everybody has to watch out for. It's the green ones that you have to watch out for.
All right, I think we've talked enough about this. I mean, it's an awesome movie. It's funny. It's horrible. You know what I mean? Horrible is...
This is a movie that's going on, that is actually celebrating its 40th year this year. If you haven't seen it, find it, watch it. If you have seen it, you know how awesome this movie is. Watch it again. Also, this is one of those movies that time progresses in the movie so quickly. The actual time frame for this movie is a few days before Thanksgiving to 2 days after New Year's. It is like the Tuesday before Thanksgiving all the way until the 2nd of January. So this is a holiday season movie of Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's in one movie.
And again, the pacing in this movie is awesome. Okay, but it goes through really quickly, but you don't feel it.
Yeah, they're going through weeks of time, and it looks like it's done next day. Yeah, no, it's been 2 weeks.
And you can notice it in the different ways that Murphy and Aykroyd speak, because they start getting quote unquote used to it, and yeah, things are crazy. Hell, Aykroyd handles a gun. He's about to off himself, and it doesn't work. He throws it, and then it works.
Yeah.
Like, again, a little dark comedy in there, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, dark comedies sometimes are best comedy.
Oh, another thing. For some reason, this movie's considered a comedy horror movie.
Yeah, when you just Google and you look at the result, it is listed as a 1983 horror comedy.
But if anything, it's maybe psychological horror because
I mean, it is horrific if you are a rich white person because, oh my God, black people with money and rights and reason.
I'm gonna let you make that joke. I'm just gonna step away because I've been called white man before, even though I ain't.
I have too. Like I love correcting people. Like, yeah, but you're white. The fuck I am.
Yeah. Okay. Customer service job. I couldn't do that. I was just like, okay, but yeah. I
But
think...
fun times. We have been talking for a long time now. If this episode goes up when it's supposed to, have a happy holidays, people. Enjoy your turkey. If this doesn't make it until Christmas time, happy Christmas. If it doesn't make it until New Year's, Merry New Year's. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Christmas Hanukkah. Happy Festivus. Whatever the fuck you celebrate. Enjoy life.
He just had a seizure. No, happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Thanksgiving, all that jazz.
Bye-bye, and be good to one another.
Keep the faith. Bye-bye.